Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Michael Mastro, Transformational Vedic Astrology. Um, Today we're going to look at the actor Effran Khan, his chart. He's famous for Slumdog Millionaire, The Brother, Life of Pi, Namesake, Warrior, among many other movies. Oh, a Lunchbox too. Um, so let's. There was no birth time, so we did a rectification based on some events in his life, and we came up with an Aries chart. And so if you look to the eastern horizon when he was born, you see that the constellation associated with Aries rising at 6 degrees. This becomes really a very sensitive point, becomes the most effective point of every house. Any planet that's within 5 degrees, like Jupiter, Venus, has a lot of impact in his life. So first we're going to look at the how the planets are operating in his chart, what gifts they're giving him, and then we're going to look at the timing events, because not everything happens all at once, and then we'll look at what we could do to rectify the chart. So first off, in Transformation Vedic Astrology, the Multrikona signs take precedence. And wherever you find a Multrikona sign in a chart, that's what you came here to work on, what lessons you came here to get in this life. And so many planets rule two signs, like Venus rules Taurus and Libra, but Libra becomes the Multrikona sign, the sign that's most connected with Venus. So the Multrikona signs are 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. So Mars for your Aries, Moon for your Cancer, Sun for your Leo, Mercury for your Virgo, Venus for your Libra, Jupiter for your Sagittarius, and Saturn for your Aquarius. Those are the Multrikona signs. So let's look at what's happening. Each one of these houses represents an aspect of your life. So he's working on self-esteem, how others perceive him, his identity, and longevity, all of that. Has to do with the first house. Then you have happiness through your family, property, things like that. In the fourth house, fifth house is all about investments, education, children. He's working on children. He has a couple of nice children. And this is also the house of entertainment and creativity. So, and then the sixth house has to do with health and debts and conflicts and things like that. Fire, theft, and cheating. Seventh house has to do with relationships and comforts living abroad. Ninth house has to do with government, religion, father. Also, the fourth house has to do with mother. So, yeah, and then 11th house has to do with income and friendships. So let's just go through these the planets and see their strength and how they affect. So Sun rules this fifth house, placed in the ninth house. So that gives him his entertaining ability, and then also whether he gets support from his father or not. So Jupiter is weak because its dispositor is Moon, which is debilitated and poor placement in this eighth house. So Jupiter becomes weak. So then this dispositor for this house becomes weak. So the planets in a house can't be any stronger than its dispositor. So that makes Mercury and Sun weak. So Sun is father. So that gives him this creativity through acting and entertainment, being in the spotlight. Um, Also, this is a house of sports, so he was interested in being a cricket player. Um, and this is the house of education. So he got kind of bored with his education, wasn't really into it so much. And then there was a lack of support from father, uh, in terms of being a cricket player and being an actor. So that was there, and then some issues with government. He did some remodeling on his house, and they wouldn't give him his permit or his final occupancy or something like that. So he did get honors from the government, but yeah, some issues there. And then being a Muslim, probably every time he went to the U.S., there was always these, they made him, go through a line, to you didn't get right in. They question his visa and all that. So issues there. Moon is at 10 degrees, and we just said that that's weak because it's placed in the eighth house. It's ruling this house of home life and happiness and mother, and placed in this house of vulnerability and challenges and obstacles. So, and it's also debilitated. So, this is the house of researching the roles that he was playing in. So can give him some gifts there, some abilities there to research the roles. Gave him some vulnerability or in conflict with his mom, though. So mom was not happy about the cricket playing or even the acting. He had to kind of lie to his mom about, when he's, was in school for acting. Um, Mars is at 23 degrees, and it is ruling that house of longevity and identity and health, and placed in the house of health and debts. And so he had a lot of ups and downs with his career, with debts and some definitely some health issues. And so Mars ruling the head, he actually was diagnosed with a brain tumor, actually the neuroendocrine tumor. And Mars is always inflammation. So yeah, would cause the tumor to grow and be inflamed. And so, but gave him the desire to play cricket, be competitive, have courage to do his acting roles, and also, this is the house of uncle, and his uncle gave him great support for his acting career. So then Mercury's at 15 degrees. It's afflicted by Rahu. Now it's here. Rahu's afflicting that within 5 degrees. And so Mercury rules, again, this health and being placed in the house of government and father. So he had trouble, with his English. So some of the roles that he played, that would affect his communication because he had trouble learning English. And he did select. This is the house of belief system. So he did pick some acting roles that gave life lessons. I think Namesake and even Slumdog Millionaire had some lessons, as well as The Life of Pi. Let's see here. And then again, this is the house of father. So conflict with father, and struggles with his English. So then Jupiter's at 7 degrees, most effective point, close to the most effective point, placed in the fourth house with the mom, and ruling the house of good fortune. So good fortune through his it's with Moon there. That this house is ruled by Moon. So give him good fortune, I think, through being vulnerable in his roles, having compassion, having displaying his emotions. Um, and again, the acting roles that give good lessons, and yeah, lessons about relationships for sure. Venus is at 7 degrees, again close to the most effective point, aspected by Jupiter. Venus is aspecting Jupiter as well. So Venus is about performing arts. So it's ruling the house of relationships. So any actor or politician, the relationships are what you get you the parts. Your relationship with um, your the person, your agent, and his relationships, and so relationships very important for becoming a successful actor. So Venus is in the career house, giving these acting, performing arts abilities, um, and it's aspected by Jupiter, which again giving good fortune to your acting. Saturn is at 1 degree, very weak. Any planet that's less than 5 degrees is said to be in young age, not able to protect or promote its own significations, ruling the house of gains and income and friendships, being placed in this house of losses, and feeling separate. So gained income through, but there were losses and lots of ups and downs along the way. This is the house of feeling separate. So, in order to be a good actor, you have to separate your own identity from the part that you're researching, your roles. So, I think that was a help, but also some setbacks. And it didn't give him great discipline. He wanted to change jobs all the time, change roles, not happy with the education. So Rahu and Ketu, this relationship gives a feeling of not being, wanting to lose yourself in relationships, desire to retain your identity. And then Ketu here gives desire for spiritual relationships or insights into relationships. Um, so those are basics of Rahu and Ketu. Now Rahu is afflicting Sun and Mercury. So again, giving some conflicts with father. Now let's look at the timing and events. When he was born in a Sun sub period. So Sun again is about the identity, how people, is about this acting, entertainment, and so life purpose through entertainment. Jupiter, in the Jupiter period in 96, he had a child. So Jupiter is children. Um, he was diagnosed in 2018 in April with the neuroendocrine tumor during a Mercury period. Mercury is health challenges. And then his mom died in just a couple, 3 days before he died. And so that was during a moon period. And then, so moon is, mom and vulnerability here. Death-like experiences in the same house of death-like experiences. So this mom would die. And then he actually died on the 29th. So let's look at that chart. So if we look at the transit chart, also when his mom died, Rahu is afflicting moon. So that, and Rahu's at the most effective point. So causing a lot of affliction to moon, which is also close to the most effective point. So then if we advance a couple days to when he died, what we see here is Rahu and Ketu are at the most affected point. So they're afflicting 6 out of his 12 houses. And particularly, they're afflicting the first house. That's the house of brain, the brain tumor, neuroendocrine tumor. And then also Mercury is within 5 degrees. That's your health issues, and also colon. He had a colon infection. That's why he went to the hospital. So, a lot going on, and this is also the house of longevity. So, cutting short the longevity. K2, unexpected events. So, the natal K2 afflicting the first house, and then the transiting K2 at the most affected point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 afflicting that first house. So, what could we do to strengthen this chart? So, for Aries, we know that the malefics are, or the challenging planets are, Mercury. So, helping children, listening to Vishnu chants on Wednesdays, Vishnu Sahasranam, or any kind of Muslim chants would be okay on Wednesdays. Not wearing green. For Rahu and Ketu, we want to transform and not strengthen, as well as Mercury. So Rahu would be helping people that cannot help themselves, giving to charities, listening to Shiva chants or any Muslim chants would be fine. K2 would be listening, helping spiritual organizations, and so that could be also listening to Ganesh chants on Thursdays or Muslim chants on Thursdays. Then we want to strengthen the rest of the planets because they have lots of issues. Venus is probably his best planet. And notice most of his successful movies were during a Venus period. Venus, again, in itself is performing arts and also represents, these relationships. And it's placed in the career house. So career was really good during his Venus period. And Venus is also wife. So good support from wife, beautiful wife. Um, and and then we want to strengthen all these planets. So Venus would be with a diamond, wearing white, Moon white, Pearl wearing a pearl, Sun ruby, wearing orange clothing, not wearing green. Red clothing would be great. Red coral. I think those are the main planets. Jupiter, yellow sapphire, and yellow colors. So an easy way to take care of this without paying a lot of money for gems and having rings on every finger would be a kavash, which contains a locket containing the Devata yantras for those planets. So thank you for listening. Again, this is Michael Mastro with Transformational Vedic Astrology. If you would like to learn Vedic astrology, you could go to AmericanInstituteofVastu.com. If you want, and there's a level 2 where you could get certified and help other people with coaching, life coaching, and Vedic astrology, which is your roadmap to your good health, enlightenment, and happiness. So you can help people. And if you want to get a reading, you can see this is very accurate. You can go to vastucreations.com under services, and there's different kinds of astrology readings there as well. Thanks again for listening, and many blessings.